What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Pub Sports Radio Baseball Show. My name is Jose Bouquet, and of course, today, joined with another special guest. I'm a big fan of fully grown men, and I'm going to have apparently the whole podcast on in a couple of weeks. It is the president, not a big deal, of Alpha Dog Agency. It is Kyle O'Connor. Kyle, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty well. Was that countdown going in order that I was just looking at?
It was. I looked up some like greatest players to wear the numbers, and it went down from 30 to 1, and I put them all in there. Yeah,
I like that. I didn't even realize it was going in order until it got to Ozzy. I was like, oh, that was going in order. Yeah, pretty cool.
Hey, thanks. You know, we try to be creative over here.
Yeah, I like it.
Thank you. So I don't know if people know you, Kyle, but you're kind of a big deal in the South Bend, Indiana zone. You're the president of Alpha Dog Agency, and for people that don't know what that is or who you guys are, I'd love for you just to give yourself like a little rundown explainer of what you guys do.
Yeah, so Alpha Dog is a digital marketing agency. I was working for an agency in New York, 2011, 2012. Decided to come back here and start my own agency. So work with local businesses, help them with SEO, web design, social media. Jordan, who you had on to talk, Detroit Tigers. Not only is he a Detroit Tigers expert, he's also our director of content, one of the big wigs here. He handles all social media and everything. So yeah, we just try to help out where we can and keep local business rolling.
Not a big deal. I like your subtle like little name drops. Like, whatever. He's the director of content. I'm the president of the company.
J Hall's the big guy.
Oh, okay. I'll make
sure.
J
Hall's one who keeps it running.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
J Hall. We had him on this past week. Appreciate him as always.
The man knows his Tigers.
Yes, the man knows his Tigers. I was actually listening to Fully Grown Men today. I got halfway through it before we had to come in here, and I heard his Robbie Grossman take, and I was like, "Wow, that's
pretty ridiculous, right?" My man thinks Robbie Grossman's going to turn into a perennial MVP candidate at 31 years of age.
I loved it. It was a hot
perfectly average. Yeah.
I love how he just dropped that in randomly too. It's like, you guys talking to MVPs, like Robbie Grossman. Robbie Grossman. Of course. All right, so let's also talk about your Cubs. This is why we're here to talk. The Cubs, they've been weird, Kyle. I don't know if you've noticed. They're one of the weirdest franchises. I think me and you, Kyle, we're kind of like cousins. I'm a Red Sox fan. You're a Cubs fan. We have a lot of things in common, and this year we have a similar teams. I'd love to know, to start off with, we'll go back in time, the 2016 Cubs. What do they mean to you right now as you look back fondly upon that year?
I don't want to say like house money, but I mean, we're kind of like the dog that finally caught the car in 2016, made a living off being miserable and being able to say this, and this. It finally happened. Like, for example, Gleyber Torres being an all-star for the next 15 years would probably hurt a lot more if that title didn't come through in 2016. It does help, but at the same time, it is frustrating when you look at that 2016 roster, you look at the core, you look at how old they were, you look at how many years of control they had left, and to not win another one, at least in that window, it is frustrating. But, I mean, 110, 115 years now with one title in the last 112, 113 years. It's kind of hard to turn your nose at any title. So I'll take it. It was a great time. It was, as a sports fan, one of the best stretches, probably the best stretch of my entire life. But it would be nice to be competing at a high level still, considering how young those guys were.
Yeah, like I said, I'm in kind of the same boat with the Red Sox. They've gotten into this World Series winning thing, and then right after they win one, they just dive straight into the tank. And I think, I don't know, I'm not sure exactly why the Cubs are starting to do it, but they've started to, the whole rebuild, retool process. How has that been for you? I mean, there's a lot of emotional attachments to these players.
Yeah, like I was a huge Kyle Schwarber fan. I obviously love John Lester. I'm sure you did too. Mm-hmm. What's frustrating right now is the 1 foot in, 1 foot out approach, where the offense it's still a very good offense, and we can get into what they're going to be looking to do later, but they could have arguably the best defensive team put out. I mean, very good defensively. They can mash on offense, but you're not going to win a World Series with that pitching staff. I know they're going to spin that they are ahead of the curve, It's the new money ball. They figured something out with the rotation. I think that's just double speak for we're being cheap. We actually, I don't know if you got this far in Fully Grown Men when you were listening, but looking at over-unders, I compared the Red Sox and the Cubs to where both teams –
I got super heated. I was ready.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, we could talk about that. I think both teams are going to be able to mash. Both teams have 4-ish bats that could compete for an MVP if things go well.
Sure.
And then both teams have one solid, reliable arm, and put Cy Young candidate arm. And then the rest of the rotation and bullpen is questionable at best following. Mm-hmm. And what I didn't understand is why the Red Sox were projected at 2 wins higher, considering the Red Sox are in a far better division than the Cubs. The Cubs are in a very, very bad division. I fully expect them to get second in that division, maybe compete for a wild card, but second in that division they should be getting second in that division with the names on the roster still. So I thought their over-under was too low, but the 1 foot in, 1 foot out, if you're going to throw this rotation out that they're going to, trade Kris Bryant. And if someone wants to pay a king's ransom for Wilson Contreras, who I think is either the best or second best catcher in baseball, trade him. You have Miguel Amaya behind him. I don't get holding on to pieces, letting them hit free agency while also not trying to win a title. That's what drives me nuts. Choose one side or the other.
Yeah, the Cubs right now have a lot of 2020 Red Sox vibes. They were the 1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of squad, and they ended up trading Mookie Betts and then fielding literal nobodies as a pitching staff while still having a good lineup. And let me tell you, Kyle, it was not a fun watch. It was not enjoyable at all.
I can't imagine
vibes right now. I have those vibes with the Cubs, and I'm worried. I was all aboard the Jake Arrieta train last year, and that train led me nowhere. And now you have to do this little rebirth thing. He's kind of washed at this point, but fan favorite. Alec Mills had a very nice day at the office. Sure, we'll love that. But the real guy, the guy that you said your reliable arm, I know you're a big fan of. Some little birds told me, the professor.
Yep.
Kyle Hendricks. I need to be sold on another player because I'm all aboard the Kyle Hendricks train. Another player that you're fond of, and I don't see it. I don't see it with Javier Baez. I really don't. He's got the swag, one of the best defensive shortstops in the game, but he strikes out like it's his little job. He never puts the ball in play. It's strike out, barely walk. I love the swag, but I'm just not sold on it, and I need to be coerced, convinced, maybe tortured a little bit to figure out what this whole Javier Baez thing's all about right now, Kyle.
So the easiest way to do that would to be, can we throw out last season? Because if we can throw out last season, I can make a pretty clear-cut argument that he's a top-tier player. He's at his last full season, which for him was considered a down season, but he was still he hit 281, 30 homers, 85 ribs, double-digit steals. The year before that, you're at 34 homers, 111 ribs, double-digit steals, and he hit 290. You say he strikes out a lot. He does strike out a lot. He doesn't walk a lot, but he also puts the ball in play a lot. I mean, it's not like he's Adam Dunn hitting 220, 215. He will strike out a lot, but he's still hitting 280. And he's hitting for 30-plus home runs, and he's still going to be a very good on the base paths. As you say, he's a Gold Glove shortstop. If you tell me you can have an in their prime Gold Glove shortstop that's a menace on the base paths, we'll give you 30 homers, we'll give you 100 ribs, we'll give you double-digit steals, we'll hit in the 280 range, and also has an enormous amount of swag, I'll take that 100 out of 100 times.
Okay, well, there you go. He sold me. That's all I had to say. See?
He does strike. He needs to walk more. And even the strikeouts don't bother me as much as if you're offsetting it a little bit more with the walks, because what I could have said on the negative side is, yeah, he's hitting 280 every year. But that jump from batting average to on base, you're looking at like 280 to 315. That's got to improve. That has to improve.
Yeah, no, it's brutal, and he's a part of this big free agent class coming up next year. So that's why I got to ask.
He's the one I want. He and Rizzo should be priority 1 and 2 to re-sign. So I think I was actually talking about this with Jordan yesterday. I think Javi, even once he's not an elite defender, he'll still be a plus defender elsewhere. I think he's going to follow the Manny Ramirez path where he will mash until he can't make it to the box anymore. You put a bat in his hand and he'll mash. He'll age well. Kris Bryant, if they can get a plus prospect for him, whatever, let him go.
Question for you too. Is there anything that could, is there a package you want? You don't have to list names because prospects are prospects. Who the fuck knows?
Let's see. They originally were going to get both of the arms for Atlanta. I would take one of them now. Really, any of those 3 young arms they have, any one of them I would take for Kris Bryant. Who were other teams? The Mets. Mets really didn't have anyone that would excite me. Even with Yu Darvish and the Padres trade, it was CJ Abrams. That's his name. CJ Abrams, the shortstop for the Padres, would have loved him. I'm all for, and I'm fine with Yu Darvish trade. I love taking on guys that are boom or bust. Give me a dude that's going to be Javi, or he's going to be, I don't know, Corey Patterson. Corey Patterson was okay. Give me someone that's going to be an all-star, or he's going to be a quadruple A guy, or never make it. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with going for the high upside guys. I would, for Kris Bryant specifically, I'd probably want a guy that's a little bit safer, and ideally an arm. There's just not many arms. The Cubs have really 1+ arm that's even close to being ready, and Brailyn Marquez. And other than that, and Theo, being a Red Sox fan, you know this too. Theo is, we will have bats. We'll bring bats up through the system. We'll be able to mash, and then let's go buy pitching. That's fine. I don't think the Ricketts are going to be buying anything anytime soon. Yeah. And that is my hesitation to where maybe we should start getting some young pitching in the mix here to pair with Marquez. And Hendricks is another guy that he's on borderline his agent should have been fired type of deal. He's incredibly cheap. He is more like Greg Maddux. He's gonna be a good pitcher forever. He'll age well. It's starting to put those arms together and then hope some of the young talent comes through, like Ian Happ, Nico Horner. You need those guys to turn into above average players.
Yeah, no, I don't. I understand that. Are you ready for Theo Epstein, our future commissioner of baseball? By the way.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, Theo. And if he would have taken Jed with him, I would have been singing a different tune. I would have been pretty upset if he would have taken Jed with him, or if Jed just said, "I don't want to do this anymore." I mean, Jed and Theo are cut from the same cloth. Yeah. It's going to be the same thing. I'm fine with that. And if Theo wants to be commissioner, I mean, he's a smart dude. He can be commissioner. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, no, I'm all in. I'm just letting you know now, Kyle. Put that on your radar. I know you guys are gambling guys. If you see that future next commissioner of baseball, Theo Epstein, just write that down.
I'll throw some money on it. I don't care. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. We'll talk about your gambling habits here later, because I've heard some stories, and I'm excited to talk about them.
Yeah.
I'd like to know, we'll get into a speed round here quick, but this is sort of speed round-esque. You know the Cubs, you're locked in. You even worked for the Cubs once upon a time, not a big deal. Who's the guy that the casual baseball fan might not know right now that you need to know going into this season?
It's Ian Happ. And he might, maybe that, you can tell me, being a non-Cubs fan, is that too obvious of a name?
No, but I guarantee Ian Happ, no one knows. Everyone who think Happ, everyone think of J.A.
Yeah, okay. So Ian Happ is the guy. Ian Happ is the guy that if he puts it all together, he could be an MVP candidate. You can get him, I think we saw it yesterday, you can get him on DraftKings at plus 4,000 right now. So Vegas might be a little bit more hip to him than everybody else is. But Ian Happ is a guy that he's going to be a plus defender in center or left, wherever you put him. He's going to be good on the base pass. He'll also strike out a lot, but he'll walk a lot. He has power. Like he has superstar potential to where other guys like Nico Horner would probably be the next name, where I think Nico can be a very good player. He doesn't have superstar potential. Ian Happ has superstar potential. So Ian Happ is the guy, if you're wanting to reach for a Cub in fantasy drafts, if you're wanting to get a long shot for the MVP odds, I think Ian Happ is the guy you want to look at. And especially if they put him, 1-2 in the lineup, if they hold on to Bryant, his protection behind him could go Bryant, Rizzo, Baez. I mean, you're going to see some hittable balls with those three behind you. And then Contreras. You don't want to start off, when that's your 1 through 5, you don't want to start off putting Ian Happ on base, because there's some dudes coming up behind him. So I think he could have a really good year.
Okay, Ian Happ, that is now in.
And he's going to have to play every day. Yeah, they only have 4 outfielders.
Good. That's in my fantasy baseball tickler file now. So
there you go.
There you go.
Give me a cut of your winnings.
Good, Nate. No problem. I got
him and Robbie Grossman. You're all good.
Hell yeah! I'm glad. I need to get the Gross man. I mean, come on. Who wouldn't need him? Oh my goodness. All right, let's get into this speed round. And we'll end with some gambling stories because, like I said, these are the best ones. I already asked you the casual name, but who was your guy growing up? You know, who's that guy you like to watch?
So I can give you the obvious answer. That was Sammy Sosa. Really fell in love during the '98 home run chase. I was at Wrigley for a lot of those games. No, some of those games. The less obvious names, I was a huge Brian McRae fan. You're probably too young. He was a center fielder before Sammy. Felix PA, who had a cup of coffee in the majors. I loved Felix PA. And even on like that 03, you're talking Randall Simon, Kenny Lofton briefly. I liked Mickey Morandini, Rod Beck, the shooter, and then obviously the Wood Pryor Zambrano trio. I loved that trio. I was a big Zambrano fan. Even Alfonso Soriano, I was a big Alfonso Soriano fan. But so if there was the guy, it was Sammy Sosa.
The Cubs, sneaky another haven for Venezuelan players. Shout out to Wilson Contreras and again Zambrano. So Venezuelan legends. Who was your favorite batting stance to imitate?
Oh, Sammy. So Sammy, and it was easy too because Sammy would get the arms out. He'd have the big dip in his cheek. But the biggest thing with Sammy is the hop after the home run. So I'm gonna put that in with batting stance. When I was a kid playing kickball, you know, if I really got a hold of one, I'd do the hop after the kick. The most disappointing thing to me as a child, was seeing Sammy do the hop and then it being warning track. That was like Santa Claus isn't real. What just happened?
That's what I was just thinking of right now. I could already imagine like a smaller Kyle just like hits a nuke, trots, and then just gets like caught at third because he's trotting too much and whatever.
Yeah, it's like somebody cheated, somebody knocked the ball down, like he hopped. It's a home run. That's a home run.
That is confirmed. That's a good one. I like it. Best stat line you ever put up in a game that you played in?
That I played it. Well, I was a basketball and football player, so I didn't play baseball. So
that's fine. My best for all stats here.
All right, so my best basketball game was a 44 point game. My best football game. So I played a real wide open league in Kansas. This number is going to sound eye-opening, but it was like 16 catches for 350 yards and 5 touchdowns, something like that.
Okay.
There was a lot of points being scored in these games, so a lot of points.
Okay, 16 catches is honestly that's a little more surprising than the 350 and the 5 touchdowns.
It was, yeah. So I do still hold 2 Kansas State records for high school football.
Not a big deal,
4 catches. But again, we threw probably, I'd say an average game, we threw 85 times.
Who the hell is your coach, Mike Leach?
Oh, man, it was – I'll give a shout-out to him. His name was Bo Sheets. He played at Shattern State where Dane Woodhead played. Okay. And he came over and took over our team, brought like a 200-play playbook with him, and he said, we're going to throw people to death, and that's what he did. We'd have games – even that we won where 80-plus passes and our running back would get a handful of carries.
That's awesome. That is honestly hilarious. My high school.
It was fun to watch. We weren't great, but we were fun to watch.
No, that's all that matters. I mean, honestly, that your quarterback must have been living the life.
Oh, he was. You want to talk about big man on campus?
Yeah.
My man could roll in and say, I threw for 500-600 yards last night. Ice in the shoulder.
Whatever.
Yeah. No, he was big man on campus.
That's awesome. That's honestly hilarious. Shout out to the Sheets.
Bo Sheets, yeah.
Bo Sheets, shout out to him. One Cubs player, only one, Kyle, that you could choose for a breakout season. You could just handpick them, you know, whoever you want, person you
who I could choose.
Yeah, the person you'd like to see have a breakout season. Maybe it's Craig Kimbrell. He'll revive himself back again. Who knows?
I do think he'll be fine, but I mean, if I could choose somebody to have a huge year, I'd choose Jason Hayward. He's getting paid a lot of money. It'd be nice to get one huge year out of that contract.
Kyle, you know that contract, it's all about the speech. That's literally that contract was for that one rain delay speech.
And I don't know if you are being sarcastic, but I'm 100% with that.
Oh, no, it's serious. That's
no. Serious. If that speech played any role in them winning that World Series, he's worth every penny.
Yes.
And obviously he's still winning Gold Gloves. Still a great defender. It's just nobody loves hitting soft contact grounders to the pull side more than Jason Hayward. He lives for it. He wakes up ready to do it, and he goes to bed jacked up that he did it.
Yeah, I'll never forget the hype around Jason Hayward when he was in Atlanta Brave. I remember everyone was like, "The sound off his bat, it's like."
It was like LeBron hype. It was LeBron hype.
No, it was right there, and it didn't help that he was a Brave and he was trying to be the next Andrew Jones, I guess. So shout out to him.
Yeah,
shout out to Jason Hayward, a legend in Chicago now. Never will have to buy a beer in his life, right?
He will not. No, and by all accounts, he's an unbelievably nice person. So it'd be good.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. Hold on, you're frozen here. Let's get your back caught up. All right, here we go. You're back. Thank you.
Yep.
Let's get the last one here. Over under, Jordan. That crucial number. I've got it at 79.5. I think you had it at 78.
Yep, 78.5.
So I'll let you pick. You can pick the 79. You can pick the 78. You going over or under?
I'll go to 80.5. I don't care. Wow. I think they're 500. I think they're a 500 team. And a lot of my logic, I'm sure you heard on the show, is there's 3 borderline JV teams in that division.
Mm-hmm.
You can play 350 or 400 ball against the Cardinals and just take care of business in some capacity against the other teams, and you should be able to hit 500. The staff is going to be the question mark. I think let's talk potential because it hasn't played out the last couple of years. The lineup has the potential, even after Arenado, to be the best lineup in the Central. The 1 through 5 of Happ, Bryant, Rizzo, Baez, Contreras. That is, I mean, if they actually just all play somewhat to their ability, that's 4 guys that are legit MVP candidates in any given season, and Ian Happ, who is an upcoming type MVP candidate. They should be able to match people. The problem is 4 out of every 5 days, you're running out Zach Davies, Alec Mills, Advert, all just guys that I don't think Brailyn Marquez, if he does get called up, they'll probably put him in the pen. So how many times can Kyle Hendricks throw? And if they go to a 6-man rotation and we lose that many more starts from Kyle Hendricks, it's just going to be that much worse.
Yeah, like I said, I experienced this last year. I was right there with you, Kyle. I'm not gonna lie with you. I was right there with you last year. I was like, the Red Sox have the bats, they're gonna throw fucking Joey Dickhead coming out here every 5th day, whatever. And then I slowly realized that the pitching staff was literally worse than the Orioles. So
it was my hot take last year before this shortened season was that the Red Sox would have the worst record in baseball.
Hey,
almost got there. They didn't have the worst, did they?
No, unfortunately not. I was all about the tank life at the end, and unfortunately, the Red Sox decided to win a couple games, and now we can't even get Kumar Rocker. So shout out to him. Never forget. The Red Sox are just eternally frustrating, Kyle, and I feel like you have the same issues with the Cubs. So I sympathize, and like I said, we're distant cousins. We're cousins,
and even the Mookie thing, it's like you and like I look at the market. The Cubs and Red Sox are both massive markets with massive followings and massively rich owners. You shouldn't have to look at Bryant, Rizzo, and Baez and say, who are we re-signing? You should just re-sign them.
Yeah.
You have the money to do it. And it was the same with Mookie. You shouldn't look at Mookie and be like, man, if we can get him at this number, we should think about re-signing him. No, you should just, whatever he comes in and says he wants, you should probably just give him that number.
Yeah, you know what? I was right there with you, Kyle, and I'm not going to lie. Hearing that name, like, it again just shudders. I start, like, tearing up a little bit, seeing all the highlights.
What about Alex Verdugo?
Sure.
He's got some cool tattoos.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah, I love him, whatever, and then I heard you guys talking about my new guy, Jeter Downs, who I won't see in the majors for, like, 3 years.
I like that there's a Red Sox player named Jeter. That's my thing. So I'm all aboard the Jeter Downs train.
Yeah, I'm a huge Jeter guy now. I'm in love with it. Yeah,
I would love how much it will frustrate Yankee fans to have a superstar Red Sox named Jeter. Be pretty cool.
Yeah. He's not awful, which is great. I had no expectations. He's not bad, and that's all that matters. I also think it's funny. I hate Derek Jeter. I have this just eternal passionate hate about him. He's not as good as everyone says. He literally gifted the Yankees Giancarlo Stanton, but he can build a baseball team apparently. So that's unfortunate.
I think he was on your rundown there, though. I think he was your 2.
Yeah, again
for the show.
Again, if I could choose, if he had a different number somewhere, someone maybe a number that's more.
I can't even think of a number 2.
Yeah, exactly. It's truly unfortunate. It is true. But just remember, Kyle, put this in your back pocket. Anyone wants to talk about how great Derek Jeter is? He's literally the worst defensive shortstop of all time when it comes to run save. So
yeah, and those Gold Gloves were one of my pet peeves with Gold Gloves is pointing to fielding percentage, which shows nothing of like how many balls are they getting to. Yeah. People will knock Javi down and they'll be like, well, his fielding percentage. So yeah, he's getting to balls that nobody else is getting to. Of course, his fielding percentage is going to be a little lower. Derek Jeter's fielding percentage was unbelievable because unless you hit it directly at him, it just went to the outfield.
Yeah, no, it's honestly funny watching the defensive highlights from the end of the year, but it's great. Let's end with this, Kyle. You're a busy man. You got to get out of here soon. I heard from a little birdie that you had quite an eventful Super Bowl live betting the Chiefs.
Who was this little birdie? Yeah,
he loves Tiger Stripes. Let me tell you that
he loves Tiger Stripes. I think I know who you were talking to. Yeah, the Super Bowl could have gone better for the. Just couldn't have been more certain that I spent the 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl doing all parlays, and the last leg of every one was a Chiefs win to every parlay. And then that didn't stop me from putting more money on them to win straight up. And then during the game, hitting the live line as they fell behind. At some point late third quarter, I had to be like, they're probably not going to win. You should probably quit betting on the live line. And so at that point, I did turn off the spigot a little bit, but the damage was done at that point. And then I just put money on the next day on the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl next year. So let's do it all over again.
That's you know what, Kyle, I'm right there with you. My big claim to fame was betting Gronk first touchdown, and I needed to be hosed off after that happened.
That way, we were just talking earlier. We had a Bills fan in here, and we were talking Super Bowl, and Jordan said, like, how did we not see Gronk as first touchdown coming? Like, that was a great bet.
Yeah, I was all about Tom Brady just throwing it to his homies that got him there, and that's essentially what he did. Shout out to AB too. So good time. You know what? I'm not gonna lie, Kyle. I listened to the show going up to the Super Bowl, and I was on the Bucks, and listening to you guys, I was like, am I gonna switch to the Chiefs? Like every week.
No, tell me you stood. You stood strong.
I stood firm. I actually had a good Super Bowl once in my fucking life, but no, it was
contrary to popular belief, idiots on podcasts don't always know what they're talking about. So
I don't know. We're two idiots on podcasts, and it seems like
except for this one. At least half of this show knows what they're talking about. They bet the Bucks in the Super Bowl. So listen to that guy.
Yes, and I'll say, fully grown men, the futures. We gotta just hop on those futures. Everyone knows.
There was a few. If you haven't got through the episode yet, there's some juicy ones in there. Mm-hmm. There's some real good ones.
Some rookie of the years that were like, I literally needed to be put down on the floor and just needed to take a breath because I was shocked at the odds.
You a Wander Franco guy?
Yeah. I mean, if he starts in the league, he's gonna win it. So
plus 1,000.
I needed to be hosed off. 1,000. I was like, oh, plus 100, sure, maybe. But 1,000.
Yeah. You got to actually put some money on that one.
No, I will.
That one and the Dodgers just to win the World Series. I think a plus 350 is a great bet.
I have them. I already put them in actually, and I put them in last year, and I had the Rays to Super Bowl or the World Series last year too, which was nice. So these are my.
You've been hitting on the futures.
Claims to fame, like I said, those futures is the only thing I'm good at. My one big future this year, Kyle, I'll give you this one for free, and unfortunately, this one will have to deal with you. It's the Cardinals to win your division.
So as soon as they signed Arenado, I went and put money on them at plus 3,300 to win the World Series. Now, I don't think they'll win the World Series, but I think there's a 100% chance that they make the playoffs because they're going to win that division. And if you can get any playoff team at 33-1 odds, kind of got to take it. So that was my thinking. I think you can still get them on points bet at 30-1. Everyone else has moved them down to the 18-1, 20-1 range.
See, Kyle, I like, winning my bets per se. So I'll bet them to win the division.
What is the division? What is that line?
I think I got it at plus 120-ish.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's free money. That's free money.
I thought it was plus money. I was like, thank you. I'll take that and I'll put that in my back pocket for later.
That's free money. I'll do it. And then if I lose that bet, I'll be thrilled. It's the same reason I bet against KU basketball.
There we go.
I need an emotional hedge, so that's why I do it.
Awesome. Hey, Kyle, thank you so much. I got you a little over your time, but I appreciate
all good. Much appreciated.
Yeah, and we'll have to do that FaceTime thing here in a second, so I can get you excited about your Cubs again. You know, we want to get the people amped. It's Cubs baseball time.
All right, hit me.
Cubs? Yeah, I got you. Is there anything you want to plug before you get out of here, Kyle?
Let's see. This is a national audience, so no local stuff. We'll do Fully Grown Men, fullygrownmen.com. The podcast is Fully Grown Men. And at Athletes MG on all social media, we'll have interviews with some former athletes dropping, I don't know, next few months, sometime soon-ish.
There you go.
That's it.
Subscribe, listen. Thank you guys for joining us as always. Kyle, like I said, thank you. We'll catch you guys next time. Go watch some Cubs baseball. Go watch some spring training baseball. Cubs undefeated in spring. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I might. If Hendricks is on the mound, yeah, I'll watch.
All right. Thanks, guys.